Many will be knocked out by it because it's going to be a big thing, and many won't. It just depends on your energy level and what you're here to do. There are some who are going to leave, and they're not leaving as in leaving, because as you know, death is a transition. It's not really death. Your soul just transitions to wherever you need to be. So whether that's going to be with your galactic star beings, or you're in one of the spaceships helping out, you know, whatever it might be. My contract with humanity is still the same. It hasn't changed. I am here till the end. I'm here to make sure that the ones who want to go to 5D, I will be that bridge for you, and we will do the 5D thing for sure. It's a choice at the end of the day. It's not something I can push upon you. It's free will. You have all of that. So, you know, it's a decision that you're making according to your soul and according to your life purpose and what it is you want to experience. Because this is all about the experience. It's about nothing else. Everything you see is not real. You know, the fractal of me here is not real. You know, you know, this is all kind of like a hologram in some ways, but a very bloody good one.
Yeah, very good.
Does that kind of help a little bit? Do you understand? Have you guys been feeling it? Do you feel like you're on the edge of like all this stuff coming up, and you're like, God damn it!
5D space.
You what? Sorry, say that again, Francois.
Again, 5D space.
Okay, lovely, beautiful. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they've been pushing the energies for a while now, but they're getting, the blasts are getting heavier and a lot heavier, but more potent. Let's put it this way, for sure. And it serves a purpose. I mean, we, you know, those who can integrate it and work with the keys. Otherwise, you know, I mean, what's left to do? You have a choice, and it's maybe departure from this envelope or this body or this whatever you, or this suit, this particular suit. And when you said, it made me reflect on a thought that I had not too long ago, whereas I was speaking to the guy upstairs, and they were saying, well, we need you down there for now, and you got to stay there. We need you down there. Because I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one. I probably not, but some of us will say, I've had it. I just want to go home and be, you know, and continue. But although we're multidimensional and working on different universes and whatever the case may be, sometimes here it gets a little woo. Yeah,
it does.
So it's nice to hear that. You know, it's like reassuring, and it puts balm on my heart that you know, some of us have decided to stay here for a while still. We don't know what the time frame will be, but we'll certainly be here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I need you here. That's why you're here. We're not done yet. We're not done yet, you know. And what you're feeling, Marlene, is very, very normal. Is very natural. You know, some days you're going to feel like it's okay to be here, and I feel good about it. And other days you're like, I really don't want to be here. I'm out. I'm gone. You know. And I think sometimes, you know, our higher selves and, you know, other realms, angelic or star systems or whatever that might be, they kind of underestimate sometimes how difficult and dense it is here to be on planet Earth. It is not easy. You know, the management of your own emotional state, and then when you've been blasted with energy as well, and it's bringing up all this stuff that you've accumulated over the last 40, 50 years, and these kind of conditioning and the programming and this belief system, and you're like, it's all purging, it's all coming out of you now. And the reason for that is because there's a new light coming in, and in order for you to assimilate it, and in order for you to like be good with it, you're going to have to clear it. And that's because what you're going through is exactly what I'm going through, because that's our agreement. We do this together.
And we know about that, and then thank God that we're getting together and we're getting in three, as Francois was mentioning and you were mentioning, we're seeing each other, we're feeling each other in this dimension and above, and it helps a lot. But you know, when we have people to talk about it, well, it helps.
It's a beautiful thing. I just want you guys to know you're not alone. I think many of you feel that way. You feel like you're doing this all alone, and you feel like you're on your own, and that's why you feel like, right, fuck it, I'm out, you know? And that's kind of normal to feel like that. And I want you to know you're not alone. I came here purposely for this. Yes. And this is how much I love humanity. I came here for this. I came here to walk alongside with you, to do what I needed to do to help you through the ascension. Everything around you is planned perfectly. There is nothing that's not been planned. It's perfect planning. I know. I've seen the plans.
Yes.
Okay. So it's, I want you to understand everything you're going through at the moment is very, very normal. Just hang in on there and kind of like go through the process, go through it all. And if you need to talk and you need to chat and you need to connect and you want some love and you want a hug and you want to know that everything's going to be okay, I'll come and have the hug because everything's going to be okay. Okay.
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love
I love that too.
Good.
Uh,
Good. The males are
Right.
having a real hard time at the
I-
moment,
I-
Francois. So I want you to be aware of that. The males are having a really hard time at the moment. I'm
yeah.
feeling it in the consciousness. Yeah, they're really, really struggling because, fortunately for the divine feminine, they've had a lot of years to kind of like, be able to purge some of this stuff. And it helps that they have Gaia who supports her, whereas for us it's that little bit harder because our connection to Gaia isn't that great, because some don't even believe Gaia is divine feminine for a start, or even has a consciousness for a start. So we already have some barriers there with the males, and then on top of that is connecting with her and understanding that obviously males and females we're both, and there's levels of understanding, isn't there? And so the males are really, really, really struggling at the moment because they have been taught for such a long time. And this goes across all cultures, I think, that you don't say anything. You're a man, put up, shut up, get on with it, be the man, be the strong one, be the one that, you be the one that you should be. A man does not show emotion. You don't show that you're tearful or you're vulnerable or that you're struggling with anything, and this is why many of them, not just males, but divine feminine too, turn towards, various other ways of coping, Hi, Julie.
Hello.
And hi. So that's another part of it, and the males are really, really struggling at the moment. So if you've got males around you at the moment who you can see that, support them, give them a bit of love, tell them everything's going to be okay, and tell them they're doing great, tell them they're magnificent and extraordinary, because they are, and tell them that they're doing exactly what they need to do to go through what they're going through, and everything's going to work out, I promise.
I may just, from my point of view, it's also that the feminine is trying to balance things out and take their place instead of taking all the space. There's, how can I put this? It can be easy for the feminine to castrate the masculine. Let's put it this way. I'm using harsh words.
Okay.
And castration is not necessarily on a physical level.
Uh-huh.
It's mental, psychological, emotional level. And I have full chills right now, so I guess I'm being guided to just speak my piece.
Mm-hmm.
We see women, or the feminine, dressing like men, acting like men,
Mm-hmm.
and changing their bodies to be like men.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say to the feminine is just be. There's that emotional side of us that enables to bring out and correct things and empower things and situations. And if there's one thing right now that I ask my sisters, and I'm not talking about this audience here, I'm projecting it out on a vibrational level right now, is just be who you are. Don't pretend to be what you are not. Give space to the masculine. Give space to them. Open your heart with no judgment, because there's also the judgment that comes with that. Of, this guy here, and he's like this, and like, well, whatever the case may be. I mean, we know them all these judgment calls that women can make. It's not an easy process for both sides to go through right now, I feel. But on the other hand, with the power of this group, the power of the intention of us putting it out there, we're certainly making a dent and changing things into
Yeah.
the structure. That's what I feel right now. That's why I'm getting chills from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to mention that from my point of view, of course.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marlene.
I can feel that you're becoming emotional, Marlene. So maybe you wanted to tell a little bit about your son?
About myself? Like
About your son.
Oh, okay. Oh, that wasn't there really. My son wasn't there when I was speaking.
Yeah, I could feel that. That's why I'm telling you.
My son transitioned in June 2019. He was 30 years old, and he's a beautiful, powerful light being that I have the pleasure of sharing my life with. He's an ascended master. For those who can feel him right now, he's a big mama. He's gone, and what happened is that because I feel a lot, they put me in a plasma so that I wouldn't pick up on his departure, and the departure was imminent. So whether it be in June 2019, it was coming up in any case, it was coming up in the weeks or the months that follow. And he chose to go on a motorcycle. So he had a motorcycle accident. I live an hour north of Montreal in this particular tunnel. And I'm not going into that because it's irrelevant. It was mind-blowing. Not expecting it, but now looking back, like a bird's eye view, looking at the situation, it was the thing to do, because these beings come in for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
As for example, Lady Diana, she was 37 when she transitioned. And we talk about Sananda, the Yeshua, who was in his 30s when he sort of took another route, although he transitioned much older. But we have the capacity as ascended masters and light beings to come in and come out and just, And so my son, Pierre-Alexandre, well, that was his time to go. And he touched many, many souls in his short life on the planet, like so many, that when the week after we had the celebration of his life, and we had that at his girlfriend's parents' house, where they have a waterfront house, there were 200 people there. When the word got out that he had transitioned, people were sending me text messages, and the message that came back, or there were a few messages, always the same that came back. He would listen. He always had the right word, although sometimes it was harsh. He was one that shook structure. He was one that came here to change a structure, and he did it in every way that he could, even the way that he would dress. He was multicolored. He was, bigger, larger than life. Mm-hmm. And when Nilesh, you're going like this, as if you're feeling him, or
I'm feeling him, yeah.
It's so big. And for me to have, he challenged me for sure. He challenged me. And we were one, basically. We were one. Why? Because we're part of the same family upstairs, and we always come back with the same people, and that we know. So this is my experience. As he came to me, within 24 hours, I had pages of questions. I said, okay, man, you got to answer all my questions. I need to know what's going on. So that part of it was all settled like a long time ago. What I hear, what I'm still trying to wrap my head around is his light presence in a body here on the planet. this is what I'm dealing with, and it's getting better and better. Thank you for bringing it up, Francois, because speaking about it, I'm healing also at the same time. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this piece with you. Yes. So when I was speaking about the ladies and the feminine, it really came from a place in my heart where this is what I feel about it. So thanks a lot.
It's
And
cool. Thank you
I
for
would
sharing.
like to I would like to welcome Julie to the Zoom meeting we have now.
Hello,
Hi, Julie.
Hello.
happy to be here.
It's lovely to have you.
Yeah. So I connected to Julie maybe 2 years ago. We were sharing some experiences in another group that we had at the time, and we didn't go much into contact, in a close contact. But I was following her messages last year, and I found that now she's posting them like almost every day. So I thought, oh, something is happening. She has a burst of energy to share this. So the new platform is the new Facebook group. I was asked, why do you need to create another Facebook group? And I finally found my truth about it. It's like, it's my group, you know. I'm gathering my tribe in this group. You can do exactly the same in another group. And also, my intention is to focus on this one group. I mean, I don't need to visit other groups because thanks to all of you, I can have glimpses of these different realities coming through different groups now. So it's like a platform mirroring each other's experiences, and it feels fun because I feel really aligned to my purpose since 1 week. And no surprise, it started last Saturday. It was the 29th of March of February, sorry. And I offered the Niles last Saturday to join this platform that I was about to create. So this group is just 1 week old. So can you tell why it was a special day? I mean, last Sunday was a special day for you?
Who are you talking
Do
to
you
me,
remember?
Francois? Are you talking to me, Francois?
Yes. Yeah. I'm thinking to. Last
no.
Sunday it was the idea
okay.
what I'm telling you about.
You talking
Last
about
Sunday was the 1st of March.
Yeah,
1st of
it
March.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it for you?
Okay, it was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I used this energies around this event, even if I didn't know for sure. I just realized, oh, 1st of March will be Niles' birthday, so it's a good moment to do something. Okay? To embark you on the trip.
I'm not sure my birthday is that significant, but I think the actual month of March it is, and I think, and it's not because I was born in March either. It's just because this month I was guided. Sometime last year, I think it was September, October time, that March this year, 2020, is going to be big, off the scale big. So be ready for it. Be ready. There's going to be a lot of confusion and a lot of people all over the place with this. And I want you guys to be ready because you are the light workers. You've already come in with a high vibrational light. Marlene, your son, the reason he left was to trigger you. He's your catalyst, the catalyst to bring you forward, to become the full, amazing, magnificent light that you are, but just to own it. And this is we're all experiencing this. I am too, having people around me who are passing on, moving on, separating from groups, joining groups. And I think it's so fluid and so kind of in the flow at the moment in regards to what we're doing. And I think this is very, very normal, because we are finding that in some places we are needed, and we need to share our knowledge and our wisdom and our insight, and in other places we are not. And so this is a part and parcel of being a light worker, light warrior, and sharing our experiences and our knowledge. So it's a beautiful thing for sure. So yeah, just be really mindful. This month is really important. I don't know why. See, the thing is, sometimes I think there's this expectation. I think everyone has them. I have them too sometimes, and I'm learning to let that go. But this expectation that because I have a fractal of Metatron inside of me, I should know the answers to everything. And and as in human terms, you would be right. But actually, my contract with humanity is not to know that. The idea is not to have a specific ascended master or a set of ascended masters to come and teach you about you and tell you who you are. That's not our role. Our role is for you to find out that sovereignty. That's where we become one consciousness. That's where we start to think as a one unit, rather than I'm separate from Marlene and I'm separate from Michelle and Julie and Elisa and Francois. We're not separate. My energy is in all of you, and your energy is in all of me. Do you understand that? Does that make sense, or does it not? Because if it doesn't, you must say.
Sure, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Elisa's like, boom, she gets it. Yeah, Francois gets it. Yeah. So it's good. We share the same energy because we came from the same source, you know? And so, you know, that's part of why that comes from, you know, all of that comes from that place. So just be kind of mindful of that. But yeah, it is that. You know, we've done this. Yeshua did it. Didn't he? Didn't he come? Didn't he come and try to show any lead? He led with his heart.
We came.
Yeah.
I've been around here many times.
Yeah. We did. Did it work? Did it work though? Did it work?
Did it work? As far as the humanity is concerned, well, I guess not as well as we would have wanted. So we're back.
Exactly. We're back. We're back. That's right. I think every step of the way, there's been some kind of stepping stones that we're going on, and each one is one further step of enlightenment and understanding and awareness. So that's kind of where we're at. Francois, you all right?
No, I'm fine. Many people around me, that's why I'm looking.
All right. Okay.
It's public space, you know, it's the kitchen of the hostel where I am, and there are, I don't know, 30, 40 people who may come at any time. So.
All right. Okay.
And people
cool.
looking at
Okay.
me with strange eyes. Why is he talking so long, Mary?
That's
yes.
funny. I like that.
That's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Yes. I can feel the connection between the six of us. So it's good to start with 6 people. 6 people. We don't need more.
Yeah.
we could have 20 people, but like we planned, it's a weekly meeting. So if you can make it next week, it will be even better. You know.
Yeah.
As long as you can, because now it's like 4:30, and some people like Michelle and Marlene will, and I think you and Nilesh too, you will have time until like 5 p.m. 5 p.m. here in Poland. I am in Krakow. So I guess you have 30 minutes more, yes, to talk?
Yes,
Oh, we
about
do?
that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh.
Is there
Because
anything you guys
because-
want to? Is there anything that's really pressing that you guys want to talk about? Because obviously I don't want to be doing all the talking. So please share. You know, because this is what it's about. It's not about one specific
Mhm.
person or soul. You know, share, please.
I wanted to
So-
share with Marlene. I think that your son influenced my sweater selection because I was going to come set up for the meeting and I just felt like I needed a sweater, which I never do. I don't get bothered by the cold. So then I went upstairs thinking I knew which sweater I was going to pick. I picked the same sweater every time if it's my comfy old sweater. And it was like, no, you have to pick the bright one. And there were a couple. Maybe he wanted me to go for the green. I'm not sure. But I picked a brighter one. So here I am.
Is it purple? Is it purple?
It's the shirt's purple. The sweater's bright blue.
Okay, well, his favorite color was purple blue.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
No.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So he also works with Saint Germain.
Mm. Wonderful. I love Saint Germain. He's amazing.
Yeah,
Mm.
they're all great. They're all great. There's an attendance up here. There's with us right now. It's just so great.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good for them to they like nipping in, don't they, and having a chat and seeing what's going on and what we're up to, and you know, and these connections are important because each time we connect, it doesn't matter who we're with and how far the distance is. It's like so important that we do that because it makes a difference.
We're the boots on the ground. So being the boots on the ground, it's when they tap into what we're saying or what we're doing, of course, helps not only empower our work, but strategize also, because as you said, the plan is perfect. It's a perfect divine. It's in perfect divine order.
Totally. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't remember it though, Marlene.
You don't what?
I think that was. I don't remember it though. They blanked that out. They like to tease. It's like, here are the plans, and they show me. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then like next one, I'm like, I cannot remember what was on that plan.
Which is
God
good.
That's how we learn to listen moment to moment.
Yeah, you're right, Julie. It is how we learn to listen that little bit more closely. I also think they blank things out, because it would not be good for me to know everything. Because again, I don't know whether you know about Metatron, but I love surprises. I've always loved that I love that human thing. It's a very human thing, surprising is, and I love that. And so I'm always like amazed, like we're connecting together today. It's a beautiful thing. We're connecting. I don't know any one of you except Francois, obviously, and it's so and Lisa, of course. But and it's such a beautiful thing for us to like talk. And this is like a big box of like surprise, and it's wonderful. So yeah, and so this is another thing with the Ascension is like it's a surprise. It's like, hello, surprise, we're here, and who'd ever thought that there'd be so many light workers and light warriors and angels and all here like doing the work and kind of meeting up and saying, yo, what's your experience? As well, I did da, 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 and I did da, 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 da. And it's like, oh, really? Because I did that too, and that's amazing. And how did that feel for you? Well, it was all right. Oh no, it's rubbish. I hated it. And there are times like you're saying, Marlene. It's like you get up in the morning and think, God damn it, what the hell am I doing here? I'm sure I can spend better time doing something else. And I know we all feel like that sometimes. Some days it's like, God damn it, it's hard being human, and it is. It's hard being a human, but you're the toughest of the toughest, and you all came here and you all agreed and you're all going to experience, and you got front row tickets, man, to the best show in the universe.
But it's true.
So
I see.
sit back, enjoy the ride. The Galactic Beings are ready, by the way. They're ready.
What do you mean by being ready?
The Galactic Beings are ready for the light. They're ready. They're already starting to bring up the people that they want on their ships. They're starting to be commanded already with like star commanders, specific humans as well. They're picking out. That's already happening now as we speak. So it's wonderful. I think we're getting closer, I really, really do. I think we're getting close. Yeah, I feel it.
My non-physical friends that I talk to always say, we're going to laugh at the cast party. All of us, seeing each other as the light, and like the villains and the victims meeting each other, we'll just laugh and laugh. And I feel like we're so privileged to be poised, to be able to look at anybody and see the light they are and almost jump ahead to that cast party and celebrate them as they are. It doesn't even matter what their past is, what they look like, what they've done, what they've said. You just know how beautiful they are. And it's such a privilege to know that, to know that in advance, to be able to see it and call it forth. I just had an experience locally where there was a body found, and I had some sort of connection to it. And somebody else I knew had a connection to it and was experiencing distress. But the whole time, I just realized that with the person who was in the body and with the people who found it and with the person or people, I'm not sure who, sent that body on its way, the whole thing was infused with light, just entirely. And to be able to see that, to just see the events working with each other, even if the humans are distressed, it's such a privilege.
Totally, Julie. You're absolutely bang on. Yeah.
Michelle, do you want to share your... Oh,
Oh yeah, Julie.
From Merlin
Julie,
to
we've
Evelyn,
lost
do
your
you
sound. We
think-
can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I lost Francois.
Do I want to
It's
share
down
my
there.
experience? Is that what you said, Francie? Okay. Well, in this lifetime, I just feel so privileged to be awake to who I am and knowing what my mission is. Uriel and me are a team, and have as a team agreed to come onto the planet, and through me, we will be part of bringing the love vibration onto the planet. One of a few, but that's part of our mission. Yeah, he came to me about a year and a half ago and told me that we were married. We have kids in the higher realms. We have 4 kids as it is now. And yes, that's you know, light is going to be filtered through me. I'm one of those people to help feed the grid. So, you know, to be privy to that information, I just feel so blessed to be awake, you know, and to be given this mission. You know, it's just incredible for me. And that's not me bragging, it's just me in awe of God. You know, I'm so profoundly grateful. We have set up a healing group on Monday nights, and what we do is send light to all places that need it. We raise the vibration. As we know, there's power in numbers. You know, it's you know, whoever doesn't show up will get the email so that they can do it in their now time. Oh, anyway, yeah. So you know, there's little things we're doing on the side, which is really, it's fun. You know, we get together and we get all the gang with us, and it's so powerful. It's so fun and so joyful, and yet we're doing such a significant thing for Gaia and for the ascension. And when I say we, I mean, you know, all those who are awake, basically, you know, who are in the group. So it's just such a privilege. I'm very grateful, and I'm in constant contact with God and heaven. And I feel like, you know, each time we do that, we go home. Like it's so close to being home, so close. And they're all like our team, you know. So we've got our physical beings here, our team in heaven assisting us. And I call in all of heaven. So, and it's so powerful. Like it's the power that comes through me and I send out is just incredible. There's no words for it. I mean, it's such a strong connection. But to be awake to that, you know, to be awake to that is such a blessing. Yeah, like my life has really been quite shitty up until I woke up, and you know, on and off. I've had some major things go on, and now in reflection, I think, thank God those things happened. Thank God I woke up, because being awake is the best gift you could possibly have. It's so beautiful. I'm just so profoundly grateful. And yeah, my life is just such a blessing. It's amazing. I love it. And I'm so in love with Uriel. Just to have that experience is just incredible. It really is. It really is. So yeah, that's my
Oh,
that's my thing.
that's beautiful, Michelle. I love that. That's beautiful. I love Uriel too. So you know, you might have a fight on your hands now, but yeah, yeah, it's amazing. The connection to the angelics are like pretty epic, you know. But
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I mean, heaven is beautiful, isn't it? It's so, you know, the thing that always amazes me about heaven is how clean everything looks and how bright and shiny everything is, you know. I'm always amazed by that, you know. But yeah, the power that comes from, you know, Father, Source, whatever name you want to give, you know, this particular source, is powerful for sure, definitely. I mean, compared to us as humans, and you know, it's kind of understanding our angelic or our star being side, or whichever side you want to look at, it is a big thing for sure, for sure. One of the things that I want you to be aware of, Michelle, is that heaven is one house of like source or God. So just remember that there are many other houses that you might be. I suspect that if you're part of, you know, house of heaven, then you'll be a part of many other houses too, you know. So you might want to tap into that and see where it takes you. But yeah, there are more. And, you know, the other thing is there are many sources as well that I'm aware of. My understanding of like the universe, the galactics and sources is slightly different. I kind of get like an overview, and I think you've all got it. It's just that you're not tapped into that yet, and I'm sure as time goes on everyone will, and you know, it'll be like, right, well, I know this now, and that's great. You know, I kind of feel like there are more than one sources. I don't feel like there is just one. I feel like there are multiples. We're talking trillions, and I think they're part of many universes, not just one. I think there are beings that they call themselves the ancients, but I don't call them the ancients. I call them the ones that were there in the beginning. That's what I call them. You know, when like everything first came into being, and we all remember that as when we first came into being, because all you remember is being a spark, and that's how you came into being. But there are sources beyond sources beyond sources that actually know all of that too. And so, you know, try and sort of like, you know, see if that comes into your awareness and the consciousness, because it's in there, it's in the consciousness field. If you tap into it, you'll be able to access the information. It's all there. Nothing's been taken away or changed or corrupted in that way. So it's something that's available to you all. It's just about whether you're tapping into it, and see where you fit into it too. You know, see if you have an energetic connection to it and what that means to you. So yeah, I do love source. I see them slightly differently. I kind of feel like each source is like learning how to become source in many ways, and I feel like there's a group of like watchers, or you know, whatever name you want to give them. I don't like labels too much. I don't think they really are helpful, but you know, a group of like, you know, ascended masters, beings, whatever, that go around and help sources and teach sources. And that's my role here. That's my role here. My role is to make sure ascension happens, and it's going to happen, that's for sure. You know, how soon, they won't tell us that, obviously. But it looks like it's going to happen at some point, and that's going to be where we start. That's where the work really begins. So
And there's also creator beings that are incarnated right now, so that helps a lot too, to move things along. Yeah.
So if you take your understanding further back and ask to be revealed more information, you won't be surprised to find that maybe you too are source creator beings too, like proper source. I know there are. The reason I know that we have sources on this planet, I have memory of asking them. So I have memory of actually being in front of them and asking them to incarnate on planet Earth for this ascension. There's one creator being that I'm in touch with that I actually have that memory with. It's fascinating, you know, because some of the stuff they say is really funny, you know, because some of the sources are like, you know, just so expansive and ridiculous. And I'll share a story with you. So there's one particular source that I have a lot to do with at the moment, and we connect regularly, and we chat, and we expand our understanding and knowledge. So we put that into the consciousness field, so it expands, so everyone can help that, and it expands everyone else. You see what I mean? So you can have access to it, just like I've been saying. Okay, so we were talking, and I kind of had the feeling that she was source, and I was a bit like, I don't know, let me tap into it. So I tapped into it, and I actually saw the time, and this is quite some time ago, obviously, saw the time when I was actually in front of this particular source, and asked if this particular source would come and incarnate, you know, at this particular time for ascension. And it was she's incarnated as a female, but the source itself is actually more male than it is female. And and he was saying, are you going to get all of this into that human body? And I was like, no, we don't need all of you in there. Just a little bit of you in there would be like amazing, you know. And but they were, you know, she was just messing about. They were just having fun, you know. They have a great sense of humor, you know. And that particular source reminds me a little like Buddha, you know, very deep kind of laugh, a very beautiful, welcoming, warm-hearted smile, you know. That's kind of how I see that particular source. So we, you know, I think if you all tapped back a little bit, you would find too, you would be, you know, also involved with sources, or even source yourself, because I think that's a reality here too, for sure. You know, and this is not ego.
You have two right now on the panel.
Sorry, say that. Say that again, Marlene.
You have two at least on the panel right now. That
Aha! Wonderful. Nice of you to make yourselves known. Wonderful. Isn't that beautiful? So it just goes to show, like, there's so much more of our understanding that we still need to go. And I'm sure it goes beyond there, beyond there, beyond there, beyond there. So yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. I love it. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. When I asked about that question also, what was shown to me is a projection of myself, creating a planet. So that was a confirmation where you said, okay, what do you do and how was it done and stuff like that. And then questions start coming in, and also always not be shy to ask those questions, because that's how we sort of we find out who we are, where we've been, where we're going, and the beauty of all this is when we get to have this opportunity. It's not an opportunity, but this awakening and this pushing the envelope where we're in a position to be able to describe in our parallel lives what we're wearing, where we are, what we're doing. This is amazing. It's amazing. I've been awakened since the age of 6, and I don't know who said a while ago that it's tough being here, probably Nilesh maybe, but you know, I've been awakened for a while, and it's been sometimes it's been woo-hoo, rocky road. Yeah, because you're here to do your job, and you're being pushed away because of the structure, because of the density, and because of the darkness that prevailed here. If I look back, 35 years or 35 years ago, well, it was pretty dark here. And now when I focus and I'm looking from upstairs, and I'm looking down, there's so much more light. But I call them the clowns, the other side, I call them the clowns. What they don't realize, the clowns right now, is that they've lost, but they just don't know it. So, so yeah, anyway.
You're right about that, Marlene, for sure. I kind of feel like this is a game between light and dark, and we are playing out our roles and our part, and we are going to see who prevails. Obviously, the light this time around, for sure. That's a given. I've seen that. But yeah, it is definitely to do with that. And I also, the thing is, my awareness is slightly different, and I'm hoping that you guys can probably share in that. As I kind of feel, light and dark is really important. We need both. How are you going to know what you don't want until you see what you do want? And one reflects a spotlight on the other. Darkness is very good at reflecting lights on stuff that you don't want to achieve, don't want to be, don't want to be a part of. Whereas I have a different perspective on that. For me, as you know, Lucifer Haleo is a part of the angelic group, and me and him hang out a lot. And I think some of the stories you've been told in the Bible are not nowhere near that. But he has a dark energy, and Father asked him to be that dark energy. And he asked him because he's one of the brightest lights that I know. And we hang around a lot, and we have time together. And my role with him is to hold the light within me so he doesn't go far too deep into the darkness. That's my role with him. This is what we do. And he is aware of that, because when we connect, it's like a beautiful thing. Sorry, Julie, do you want to say something?
Oh, I have something relevant to share there. Is the sound okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, go, yes.
First of all, I love Lucifer because I am him. and
Oh, wonderful, another fractal. I love that.
and why, I don't know about that, but I was just prompted to say that. So, but what I'm being taught about my daily life is that anytime I think I'm running into the darkness or the density or the otherness, and you might see me closing my eyes a lot here, because it happens every couple seconds, every couple minutes. It's not an hourly, weekly thing. It's like, it's a secondly thing. And I can fly my freak flag with you guys and close my eyes and just go within and get it cleared up. Because every time I bump into that, what I think is a judgment or an other or something just a little off, it's my false personality structure. That's what I'm bumping into. So if I look out into the world and I believe something's wrong, I'm bumping into my false personality structure that I constructed to be here. And now it's time for it to fall apart. And I've just shown that I just keep bumping into that. That's the density and the tension I feel. It's not an evil out there. It really isn't. And so the agreement when I close my eyes is to, okay, just allow that to fall apart. It's just the thing you built with thought to be a separate one and to express separately and to have what you believed was your own free will, your own separate will that decided for itself what it wanted and what it wanted to avoid. And now it's time for all of that to fall apart. So every time I think there's something wrong with anybody or anything, I'm just bumping into that personality structure. And all I have to do is allow it to be dismantled. And when I do, it's just everybody and everything is so beautiful and perfect. Even if it could be labeled ugly, it's just perfectly in place. So I just wanted to share the beauty.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's wonderful. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, you're right. It is about personality constructs. It is about programming and conditioning. And a perfect example of that is what we're going through at the moment. Look at the coronavirus. How many times have you been to the supermarket and seen all of the hand sanitizers and the face masks and all of the cleaning products all gone off the shelves? Mm-hmm. Fear-based, right? It's fear-based. Yet coronavirus, if you look at it in facts, flu kills more than the coronavirus has ever done. So it's amazing how much there is this perpetuation of like fear, within the media and within people. And our thoughts are so manipulated and so coerced in so many ways, and this is a perfect example of that, what we're seeing, the fact that people are being convinced that this is the worst, pandemic ever, and it's going to kill, 2 billion people and all the rest of it. So I don't see that happening at all. I don't see that happening. I kind of feel the ones that are being affected are the elderly or the really, really young, or the ones who've got a predisposition with, particular kind of lung problems. But media are very good at perpetuating that fear, and we're seeing that at the moment. It's the same in the UK. I went to a supermarket yesterday, and literally all the cleaning products in the supermarket were gone. I was like, whoa. I was speaking to the cash kind of register person and saying to her, what's going on? She goes, wow, people are just a bit crazy at the moment. They're just getting all this stuff, and and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because to me that's a level, it lets me know how far we're coming, and how far we are feeding into that, but it's interesting for the ones that don't. There are ones that still do, so we still have some work to do.
But what a perfect opportunity that is when I think it's theirs, when I find myself thinking, these people are really panicked. That's when I get tapped on the shoulder. That's exactly when I get tapped on the shoulder. And they're like, honey, you're seeing it outside of yourself because you have the opportunity to release it right now. Right now. Do you want to do that? And more and
Yeah.
more, I'm saying, oh, yes, yes, I do. Whoops. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see the dysfunctions outside of yourself because I know I projected them with thought. I can take responsibility. And
Oh,
whoa.
totally. Totally. And you're right, Julie. It's about coming to that level of understanding. It's other people's stories, isn't it? That's the thing. We take it on board. We never really come to that awareness until we're getting to this stage now that other people's ideas, thoughts, belief systems, sometimes we take on board. We kind of believe them as our own and take them on as our own. And this is what we're learning, is that actually, no, we're very sovereign beings. We don't need to take other people's ideas and thoughts, beliefs, programming, conditioning on board. It's not necessary for us to do that. What's necessary is for us to analyze it and see whether we want to, because it's a choice. Whether we want to, whether it serves you, whether it's useful to you. And if it does, then that's different. And if it doesn't, then you need to, like you say, let it go and understand that that's not yours. And this is, we give this many names. We call it transmuting, we call it healing, we call it just sitting listening to someone. There are many names for it. So yeah, that's the kind of awareness we're in at the moment. We are in that awareness, understanding that it doesn't have to be ours, for sure. It's a choice, for sure. And you're sovereign, and you get to choose, and you get to create exactly what you want to create.
And it works. And it works fast.
It does.
Oh, it's so fast. Yeah, if we look at the history of their contract being up, I mean, they've been dumping viruses since 2015 on a yearly basis. And it's not working because there's more and more people aware. They're so desperate. But the only thing is I don't think they're very smart, because they're using the same tactics and they're working less and less, and people are just waking up more and more, I don't know. Well, how do you feel, you guys, about critical mass? Do you think we'll ever attain this on the planet of awakening? I mean, the critical mass of awakening. What is your view on this?
It's inevitable. It's already happened. It's just we're reviewing the past right now. It's already finished.
But I mean, what I mean by critical mass is of the 7 billion people. Well,
yeah. Oh, definitely. Just 100%. Yes.
I see it a little differently.
Yeah.
We could
what do you
delay
see?
it as long as we want to. We could string time out as long as we want to, but the end is inevitable. Yes.
We talk about timelines. That's something else too. I mean, will 3.5 or 4 billion people be awakened? In my view, I doubt it very much. I don't think we will ever reach critical mass. What I view as far as our population's awakening, because the structure is still there, and the AI and whatever they're doing. Anyways, I'm not getting into that. But the ones that are awake and are so powerful that in some ways, in a lot of ways, we alleviate, and we're so powerful. The light is so powerful. And again, when you look down and you're a bird's eye view and you're looking down, there's a lot of light patches on this planet, but humans are so unpredictable that 20 minutes later you can look down and there's a big veil over the planet, and then 20 minutes earlier it was like, wow, we see all this light. This is all the thought process of humanity that creates so much havoc. If only people were aware, and just start from there, of just being totally aware of your thought process and intention at all times. I mean, we could reverse this process in the bat of an eye. I mean,
the light is the virus. The light is the virus. And so when I look out into a world and I see coronavirus and I feel any fear, it's actually my fear of love overtaking the planet. That's still part of the false personality structure. That's still here, you know, as a separate Julie, but I'm allowing it to fall away. So, I mean, that's the real virus, and we don't have to worry about that virus. And that's crazy quick.
That's interesting. You know what I think? I think you guys are the virus. That's the way we planned it. You guys hold the light within you, yes? And then that light, you have quantum codes, light codes. So now we're talking, guess what? Everything I know, you know. Everything you know, I know. We just swap light codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in my meditation or in your meditation or yoga or Tai Chi or you'll walk in the forest, you'll be like, whoa, I've come to this awareness. I wonder how that happened. It's because we've just shared our experiences. You guys are the virus. You guys are the ones. This is how we planned it. We planned it for you guys to be it. That's how this is the only way it was going to happen. We tried the Ascended Master thing. It didn't work. Tried it lots of times. It didn't work. So the only way we're going to create something better is for you guys to be a part of that and create as one rather than separately. And all of this takes time. It's like a process. It's like a stepping stone process that you have to go through. And I think you're right, Marlene. It would be good if people became more aware of the fact that their thoughts become things. But we are just starting to see this now. If we look at people's ideas on like vegetarianism, veganism, all of a sudden this has become a reality. Like you talked about vegetarianism 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, they'll be like laughed at you. And males becoming vegetarian, oh my God, well, you can't be a man if you don't eat meat. Like, what's wrong with you? You need a good bit of steak inside of you, right? Yeah. Is that true? Yeah. But now all of a sudden you've got Jack Black, you've got Jay-Z, you've got Beyonce, they're vegan. You got, you know, you Joaquin Phoenix, you know, another one, you know, again, vegan, you know, and this is the consciousness. To me, I love this because it doesn't matter whether you are a homeless person on the street or whether you're the biggest rock star on the planet. It's irrelevant. The light affects each and every one of you. No one is excluded from that. It affects every single one of you, and changes will happen whether you want it to happen or not. The difference between it being good and bad, as in a good and bad experience for you, is how much you surrender to it. The more you surrender and go with the flow, regardless of what you've been given, the easier this will be. The more you resist with anything in life, it makes it more difficult. So surrender to it, you know? And the thing is, the reason I know that is because I'm going through it with you. I must have been crazy to do this, but you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, right? It's something I agreed, and something I, like, you know, I must have been very drunk when I agreed it, but you know, I agreed to do this. And this is kind of what we're about. We're doing this together. So I feel it, you feel it, you feel it, I feel it. Yeah.
Yes.
Does that kind of make sense, or am I just talking a load of twaddle? You tell me.
Maybe
No,
we're
it makes sense.
reflecting on what you said. I'll drink to that.
Fantastic.
Regarding the food, that's been an interesting journey for me because I have a past of veganism and animal activism, and a lot of that came from intense guilt and suffering, my own intense guilt and suffering. And then in order for me to be vegan, I had to see people eating meat as doing harm, and that was a long time ago. And now the habit is still in that direction. You know, the habit of the food that would be put in this is still there. There still seems to be a squeamishness, but I'm not allowed to judge it. I'm not allowed to say this one's a wrongdoer and this one's a right doer, because I think what we're leaving together, we're leaving duality together. We're leaving judgment together.
Yeah.
Because the one of us is really prior to and beyond all that. And so anywhere I'm seeing a wrongdoer, I'm hurting myself because there's only one of me. And so what I'm shown is how we help all minds. Well, the mind is the important thing. And if that body over there is eating meat all I'm supposed to do is just see that being, and love that being, and that's enough.
Mhm. Yeah, that's bang on, Julie. I agree. It's another program, isn't it? It's another conditioning, you know, and that obviously came from the
Like a
reptilians
teeter-totter.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And it is about that. Sometimes it's just about holding the space, isn't it? Holding the space for that particular being and saying, look, you know, you don't have to eat meat, but it's something you choose to do now. That's fine. And that's their experience too. You know, it's like we can't expect everyone to kind of come to the same level of understanding all at the same time. It doesn't work like that. Everyone will come to their level of understanding as much as they allow and surrender and open up to it. And there is some changes. You know, I've been through quite some real significant changes over the last 5 years of my life, and I've like had some traumatic experience in my life, and it's difficult. And as I go forward, there are more. You know, and just when I think, oh my God, this is not, you know, this is it now. You feel like life's going to just stable out a little bit. And it's going to be a bit more smooth. It's like, nope, there's more, there's more, there's more. You know, and so if I'm feeling it, then you're feeling it. Because that's our agreement. The agreement is that if you guys feel it, then I feel it too. You know, I am very much connected to the masses at the moment, and this is what we're going through. So the purging of everything. I mean, you know, as a child, I was brought up in a Hindu religion culture, and you know, and we follow rituals and to appease the gods, and more conditioning. I was brought up as a male Asian, more conditioning there. You know, you get married, you have children, you have 2.4 children actually, and then you have a house and a car, and you're successful, and you have to be successful because you're the man of the house. More conditioning. Yes. And you have to like look after your family and please everyone within your family too. You know, look after your wife, look after your children, protect your wife, protect your children. Yes. More conditioning. Yeah. You have to be successful. You have to be with your peers. You have to be seen as someone who's successful. You've got to be on the edge, you know, in regards to like have enough monetary value to look after your family, and also make sure that, you know, you can help out your friends and family too, because that's what a good human being does. More conditioning. There's so much conditioning that goes on here, you know. And it's about releasing all of that and understanding that actually you're not. And there are some people have caused harm too. And you know, me, myself have done that. I am not excluded from this. You know, I have caused harm for people. So it is about going back and asking forgiveness, or going back and healing that. You might have not had a very good relationship with your mum, your dad, your son, your brother, your sister, you know, whatever it might be. And it's about going back and healing it. And you don't have to do this in reality. You don't have to do this in 3D. It can be just doing a meditation and going back to that scenario, you know, and you as an external person to what you're witnessing. So I don't know, for example, me and my dad, we don't have a great connection. You know, my dad, he's a lovely soul in many ways, but I think he's very selfish, and I didn't have a great childhood because of him. So it was going back to the, you know, the kind of experiences I had with him. And so I don't know whether many of you know, but when you're brought up in an Asian household, like they disciplined you, like they didn't mess about, they properly disciplined you. And we experienced that at a really, really young age. And so it was going back and healing that, but healing my father when he was doing that, and healing myself as like the victim perpetrator kind of paradigm, you know, and going and healing that. And what I discovered through that is when you do that, not only does it release you of your current conditioning and your bonds that you've chosen to have, but it also, what it allowed me to do was see why my dad became the person he was. I was able to go back on his timeline and see exactly why he became the person he became, and I healed him for that as well. So that's the difference. It's not about it's not just about witnessing it. It's also about going back and healing that. And I can see that his relationship with his father wasn't so great. And I can also see that this is the way he was taught to be. And so it's going back, and there was a specific interaction between him and his father that brought on the way that my father became as a man. And I went back and healed both of them too. This is what we do as light workers. This is our power. This is what we can do. So we're not just healing ourselves, but in turn, when they say you're healing everyone else, you are. Because this is what you need to be doing too, going back and healing all of that, you know?
Exactly. The family line, lineage.
Yeah, Absolutely. And it goes beyond. We're not just talking about
Sure.
this one. We're talking about I'll share, like I do, probably a bit too much, but I'll share. I'll share. There was a time in Atlantis that I was alive as Metatron, and Metatron had an immense amount of guilt of going through what was a very bloody battle, I would say. And we won the battle, but I was in charge of that battle. And Metatron had a tremendous amount of guilt that he held on to about that. And so I had to go back and heal that. And I healed it. And it was better as a result. But as angelics, as enlightened beings, I think we are the most critical about ourselves. Really, we are. Our expectations are really, really high. You know, what we expect to uphold such high values, and not only uphold them, but also be an example to others. And so when we fall short of a particular area or a particular value that we have, we are really brutal with ourselves. You know, we really beat ourselves up. That's not coming from a place of self-love. That's not coming from a place of light and love. And it's about that level of awareness. And, you know, Julie, you've talked about that. That's programming, that's conditioning, that's belief systems. And it's about breaking all of that down. Like Michelle says, we're bringing in mass amounts of light. And that means clearing the vessel, as I'm doing right now. And let me tell you, it's bloody hard, you know.
I find myself with a really intense curiosity about what Eliza's thinking. So I'm thinking it's maybe a tap on the shoulder. Is there something that wants to come through you? I'm just intensely curious. What is she going to say?
My head about what?
Maybe we're just supposed to gaze at your beauty and love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me a voice. First of all, I definitely feel very humbled being here, but I'm very much triggered. I'm purging a lot at the moment, not just in my meditations anymore, during the waking hours. When Nilesh was sharing the story about something, I had the biggest purge. I had to literally leave the camera because I had no idea what's going to happen. So there is a lot that is happening, and the last 24 hours I've had so much download that I'm trying to process in the same time. So there is a lot that is coming through, and in the same time I'm trying to learn as well. And I feel very, very grateful to be able to learn from you. There is so much gratitude and beauty that I feel and see from every single one of you. So maybe I just would like to say thank you for being you.
Oh, thank you, Eliza. That's beautiful.
Nilesh, Eliza, I don't want to cut you off. Elisa, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Well, what Nilesh was just saying about the inner work and the inner judgment and criticism, this is something I've been a huge amount of work that I've done over the last 5 years. It is about that. It's practical, hands-on work on me. Before I properly woke up, I was extremely ego-driven, extremely fear-driven, extremely pain-driven being, and I went through a lot of pain and many challenges in this lifetime and the past lifetimes. This morning last night I had a meditation, and I see the same scenario going through at least 20 lifetimes that I had, which it was just so much to take on as well. So there is every single day there is something released for me to learn from. But I truly deeply believe, and I shared that with Nilesh before, that I go through that stuff only so I can share and help others go through the same things. So there is a lot I need to learn. There is a lot I learned already, and the judgment that you mentioned, Nilesh, it is conditioned, it is passed on. It is passed on. You know, we come from love. We're made through love. We're created by love, and we are love. So we are conditioned to love, not to fear and to hurt. but that stuff comes on one from another because my mom, for example, passed on that stuff to me and my dad because they never knew and they've never been shown how to deal with their own pain, how to deal with their own inner judgment and criticism. So I was brought up like I identify with Nilesh a lot with being brought up in a very strict way, lots of conditioning and expectation. No one ever asked me as a kid what I want, what I like. It was, you do this, you do that, shut up, that's it. And since I was 7, I was made up a grown-up and I had responsibilities to take care of my younger sister and, you know, end of story. And no one seen that back in the day as anything wrong. And that's the way it was. I'm getting off the track. What I'm trying to say is that that pain that was passed on to me, it wasn't, it was done because my mom had no idea how to deal with her own pain. And her mom had no idea how to deal with her own pain. And I come from Poland. So you can imagine 2 world wars and the collective consciousness of the pain and the consciousness of being a victim, you know, unfair, life is unfair. 2 sides, Russians and Germans, I'm in the middle, pure people, blah, blah, blah. So all that consciousness is passed on as well. So every single one of us here has a lot of that baggage carried on and passed through. And I absolutely love what Nilesh said earlier, like how much love it is within all of us and how much light, you know. I can feel, I can see from every single one, and it's very unique. Every single one of us have our own very unique, very strong light and beauty, and it's awesome to be here. It's awesome. And I cannot say it's easy to be triggered each time and away. And no, but I'm grateful, and I do believe that it is for the greater good. And the awareness, someone mentioned self-awareness. I think it's Marlene mentioned lots of self-awareness. So beautiful. And Julie as well, because I truly believe if everyone read The Power of Now, for example, just example, The Power of Now, if everyone read every single day this book, like at least 2 pages every single day and put in practice, nearly most of the issues would be gone. But you know, that's just an idea, and things are the way they are, so we can grow, so we can learn, so we can overcome. That baggage comes, you know, that baggage that came through all these generations. It is, you know, it can be heavy to acknowledge, you know, how much we have to deal with. Nilesh mentioned healing, not just this healing, but past healing, other healings. It can feel heavy, and that's okay. But it wouldn't be an opportunity if it would be too much to us. So it's possible.
Wonderful.
Elisa, I felt guided to share something with you, a perspective. But at the same time, I'm being told you're sharing it with her because you also need to hear it. So if it doesn't resonate with you, it's actually for me. So here it comes. What I'm getting a picture of is as you're going through all this, being triggered and doing the work, there are so many minds you're touching. Well, I mean, the reality of it is all our minds are touching all minds across time and space. But specifically, what I was shown about you is that as you're doing all this healing work, there's just so much flowing, you as teacher to others, mind to mind, while you just sit in a chair. You know, you don't have to talk to anybody, look at anybody, do anything. You're teaching just by doing what you're doing. And it's such a huge effect. And when you talked about the heaviness and Poland and whoa, like, oh my goodness, that came up so big, so emotional. And what a block for us all to release together. If it comes up to the surface, it comes into the light. And in the light, it isn't real anymore. It disappears. And so we're learning that modality of allowing that into the light. And in the light, it never existed. It's nothing. It's just amazing. So you're just amazing. And to recognize that, you know, when we get triggered, that we're doing the amazing. And I also felt when you were talking about relatives, like the higher selves, like the hugs, the spirit hugs of the higher selves, and the perfection of all that we've experienced with our families, because they triggered us so perfectly to need to wake up. Without that pain, we wouldn't have been so desperate to wake up. And we're like seeds growing. And so I can genuinely find the thank you for everybody, because who would have triggered me so perfectly? Everybody I've run into has either reflected the joy I am back at me, or sent me perfectly on this journey of waking up when I was supposed to. So like they said, we're all going to laugh at the cast party. Every actor has performed syllable perfect, gesture perfect. They could not have done a better job. And it's amazing. You're amazing. And you're all amazing.
Beautiful. I love that. And
Yeah,
so
really.
right.
That was
so
great. I just wanted to make a comment about the veganism through my own experience. I had been a vegan since last spring, and my husband has had a nickel allergy that we just recently, just even a week ago, found out, what his allergy was. And as it was, being a vegan, our diet was extremely limited. We were living on, beans and, grains and things like that. Everything organic, everything vegan, no meat, none of that. But when you think of it at a deeper level, everything has a soul. Everything has a soul. So when I bless my food, and I bless everything, I bless the water I drink, the food I eat, the water I bathing, everything. When you think of it that way, everything has a soul. It sort of changes the game plan. If they came here for us, there's no separation. Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, if you eat an animal, they've agreed to that. The plant has agreed to that. Everything has a soul. So pick the soul that you're we have to eat. That's, we're here, we have to eat. So pick what you want to eat. As long as you bless it and are grateful for it, then what's the difference? I mean, I adore animals. I adore animals. In fact, I'm just taking an animal communication course right now. So it's, me, me not being vegan doesn't change anything. It's just, if you bless it, and everything is here for us. If you bless it, then it's okay. In my opinion, it's okay. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what
Absolutely.
I meant.
Yeah,
I meant.
you just
To add something on what you were saying, and Julie and Michelle and whoever was talking about, I've been a vegetarian for 25 years, and it was kind of controversial, of course, 25 years ago. But nowadays, actually what I wanted to say, what prompted me to just say this, was that the way that I looked at it 25 years ago and the way I look at it now is like two worlds, although they intertwine, in the sense that 25 years ago was a question of like I can't eat my friend, I can't eat my brother and my sister animals, or, it was the can't word that was there. My way of looking at it and seeing it today is, I revert all of this back to me. It's a question of maintaining my vibration as high as possible at all times. So if it means eating only plants or a piece of fish once in a while or an egg, so be it. As you said, I mean, everything comes from creation, everything comes from love, and they are here to accompany us. So what this today, the way that I see it is more on a vibrational level, and by blessing the food and all that, well, it's the way it is. And you know how it is when you've discovered something and you're so enthused about it and you want to share, and you say, this is the best thing for you, and you got to try this, and don't drink that. And the minute you put a don't, a can't, and a why are you, I mean, you're really going down like
Yes.
a slippery road. So when we start changing the words, and we start, because the intentions change and the thought process change, it changes our whole world. Not only that, it keeps us in this level of non-judgment. Everything is okay. It's always a question of choice, although our education showed us, as you were talking to Les, you got to do this, and you're scolded, and you're doing this, and you should do this. It's always you should. But what do people know about us? Why should I do that? And in my case, I've always been a rebel. I'm still a rebel. And as my son, I came here to break structure and to rebuild the structure in all kinds of ways. And that was part of it, trying. I went cold turkey from eating meat because it was meat and potatoes. I live in Canada, so especially when it's cold, it was meat and potatoes and green peas on Sunday, to a week later, I'm a vegetarian. And I started doing my veggie pâtés to put on my crackers. I mean, and then I went into withdrawal. But I'm joking about this because you know how it is. It's like, yeah, you got to try this. It's the best thing in the world. Then you realize that, well, if it's good for me, it doesn't mean that it's perfectly aligned for you. Yeah. So, I mean, everything out there is good and everything is perfect. It's just aligning with ourselves. And it's always a question of frequency. Everything is frequency and vibration. So once I got that, integrated, I said, okay, well, inshallah, everything is good. Just align it with yourself, you know. But yeah, anyways.
I'm just going to add to that as well, Marlene. You know, when you bless your food, you can actually, because we're powerful, we can do this. You can change your food vibration from acidic to alkaline. You can raise the vibration of the food to the highest level possible. I mean, you can do that. You can make a conscious choice every time, you know, you can raise the vibration of your water, whatever it might be. You know, in every moment, we can do that. So.
That's right.
That might be a redundant thing to say, but it just
no, I
out,
think
so.
no, it's bang on. It's bang on.
Yeah. Absolutely love it. Thank
I'm
you.
on my little soapbox. Let's go with it.
Can I make a suggestion? I don't know if you guys have bottles of water, but have you ever thought about writing on bottles of water what you want from it? Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
So
idea.
on my bottle of water, well, actually I have a jug, a filtered jug, and on it I've wrote DNA upgrades, healing, truth, honesty,
Great idea. Yeah.
various things. And what that does is the words imbue the water with your intention, because our intention, we're manifestors, we're creators. When it does that, use it. It doesn't have to be on a jug. It can be on a water bottle. It can be on anything. I've got a permanent marker and I've just wrote on a load of stuff that really resonates with me, what I want from that water, what I want it to be, you know, the purest form, pH balance, whatever it might be for you. And I think you guys are right. If you bless the food as well, that makes such a big difference. I mean, my daughter still eats meat and I'm fine with that because that's cool and that's what she wants to do. And, you know, and I always bless it before I serve it to her, just so I know that I've imbued that particular piece of food, whatever she's eating, especially meat, you know, with the highest form of source energy. And I know what she's getting is great stuff rather than, you know, the antibiotics and the chemicals and all the other things. I think you're both right. You know, Marlene, you mentioned it earlier. You talked about frequency. I agree, it's vibration. I was brought up in an Asian household, and although Hindus are meant to be vegetarians, my family particularly wasn't. And I ate meat for a long time. It's only until my vibration changed that I could no longer stomach it anymore. And so because of that, I've had that transition. Now, you know, I think the higher your vibration raises, the more that things automatically just change for you. And it's not always to do with a conscious choice. It's just to do with the fact that your vibration is raised and you can no longer, I used to eat fish, meats, all of it, lamb, all of it. You know, I couldn't feel the animal's vibration. But now, like, well, not now, but previously, when I have consumed it, and I was going through that transition phase, I could feel if a fish died happy or died like depressed. I could feel, you know, if a chicken was like happy or it died like with trauma or not. And I could even tell you what the trauma was, whether it broke a leg or whether its wing was broken or whether it just died and gave up. You know, the thing I realize is which is what we're seeing now, is that level of vibration, that thought, you are ingesting, you are taking that on board. And so the purer your diet, the better it is for you in order to raise your vibration. I've had to learn that the hard way, you know, because for you know, when I was going through this transition, I was like, nah, I can eat a little bit of chicken, surely, you know. And my dad was like brilliant. I'd be like, Dad, I'm vegetarian. He's like, oh yeah, but chicken, like, that doesn't count, does it? I'm like, Dad, it's chicken. I can't eat chicken, you know. And it you know, there's also those kind of barriers as well, you know. And it's just coming to the understanding. My body, this is a personal thing. My body feels better when I'm eating stuff that's vegetarian. I'm not vegan. I do try, but I haven't got to the stage where I can give up cheese and eggs, because cheese is so addictive. But yeah, you know, I'm not at that stage yet, but I'm working. You know, the more I go for, it's not like a daily thing, but the more I go forward, the less and less it is in my diet as a result, you know, which is, again, more changes as I'm going forward. And I think it's a vibrational thing, and I think everybody's journey is unique. And there is no judgment in that. Everyone's got to get to their own level of understanding when they're ready to get to it. And that is perfectly fine, because that's the way this was designed. It wasn't designed for everyone to come to the same understanding at the same point in time and we're all at the same level. No, everybody's journey is unique to their own, and it's beautiful. And whatever you choose to do, conversations like this changes people, it changes thoughts, it changes ideas, changes your belief systems. And this is how we impact the world and make sure that we get to exactly where we need to get to. So yeah,
I'm just going to throw this in as well. You know how most of us drink coffee. Well, I don't know about this group, but most people, that's what they consume is coffee. In my experience, it's so important to drink organic coffee, because most things have been sprayed with Roundup. And when you're drinking toxins like that, it gets stored as fat because the body doesn't know what to do with it. So unless it's organic, it gets stored as fat, in my experience. And the other thing I was going to say, and it's just popped out of my head. Yeah. Anyway, it'll come to me maybe.
I had
Yeah.
a food guidance. So I'll share it, and if it resonates, okay, and if it doesn't, just let it go. But the idea of when I'm having food thoughts, and when there's any flavor of distress associated with it, to just hold the food and allow my friends, my non-physical friends, to ask me, what do you think you're looking at? What do you think you're seeing? And to just hold the food. And they talk to me in swear words and humor, so this is what I'm hearing, like, excuse me. They're saying, face your own bullshit, because you're looking at a projection of your thoughts, which is perfect. Because if there's any distress, we can clean it up right now with you. Right now. Right now is the time to do it. And then eat it, don't eat it. They tell me all the time, you don't need to eat. You think you need to eat. And we're not telling you to eat or not eat. It doesn't really matter. And just, you know, you're going to end up eating or not, and it's irrelevant. And the amount of things they think are irrelevant really triggers what remains of this personality. But, you know, it's supposed to be triggered, and it's supposed to crumble and go. So just that little game, like, what do you think you're looking at? It's a projection of your own thought, and we can do the cleanup right now. So there it is.
lovely. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank
I
you.
want to thank you because of bringing up this food thing and everything. I've just came back from a mission, galactic mission in Africa. And while I was there, before I left, I was thinking of where I'm leading to is to live off prana. And I know that I will do that before I transition. I know that. And you know how it is and how people are put on your route. Anyways, I meet this gentleman from Germany, and he's been on prana since 2006. And this discussion I had with my sister before I left on my trip. And there I meet Dirk, and he's on prana. And now we're talking about this food. So I just wanted to thank you because I'm reinforcing myself and to totally accept that I'm going towards that. And this is part of what I will be doing before I leave here.
Mm-hmm.
Live off prana. I know.
Yeah.
And and ever since I've been back 10 days now, and everything is, I open the fridge door and I'm like, I take out, for example, lettuce, or I'm taking whatever it is, and then I put it back, and then I go in again, I take something else, put it on the counter. I'm not sure I want, so I'm saying, are you going crazy, girl? What's happening with you? So I close the fridge door, I back up, I do something else, I come back, and I realize that, well, are you really hungry? And all these thoughts are going through my head. Are you hungry? Do you feel like you need to eat right now? What do you want to eat? So thank you so much, because this is enabling me to really align myself with my decision. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I agree. I think the more we go forward, the more it's going to be that. We are going to learn to live off the nourishment of light, for sure. It's going to happen. And it's just, if you can do it before we get there, well done. That's impressive.
Wow.
Share it with
I like
everyone, you know.
Yes.
That's kind of what we want. Share your experiences, share how you did it, teach everyone else, you know, so we can all get on it and do it.
Wow.
You know, there's a lot of that going on. And, you know, it's very normal, very, very normal. And also, you know, relationships as well. That's another aspect of where things are like really up and down. And sometimes you vibrate with a particular, you know, relationship, sometimes you don't. And there's a lot of that going on at the moment. I see that specifically in the angelic realms at the moment. I'm seeing that at the moment, especially with 3D ones that I've incarnated here. I've got a few people that I know who have incarnated, and they've met their angelic counterparts, and they're obviously having issues. And the issues isn't because they're bad people. They're not. It's just because the energies are really strong. You came here for a life purpose, and you will fulfill your mission. That's what you came here to do, because your mission and your purpose is stronger than your connection with your divine counterpart. And over the years, since I've been watching, you know, bits of YouTube, I can see many kind of like people like kind of splitting, and it's not because, you know, it's not meant to be. It's just because we're at a precipice at the moment. We're going to hit some serious energy, and this is a really big part of it. Francois is back. Hi, Francois.
Hi, Francois. Nice to you.
Hi.
So yeah,
Thank
just
Sure, you're talking about are you talking about twin flames being incarnated at the same time, or is this what
I
you're
think
talking about?
I think you've got to, there's a definite, I see 3 definitions. I don't see them all as one. So soulmates, twin flames, divine counterparts.
Mhm.
So, you know, soulmates would be a 3D connection. You know, I really resonate with this person resonates with me. We have a really good connection. It feels like love. I can marry this person, I can have children with this person. We can create a good 3D life. That's a soulmate connection. Yeah. Twin flame connection is the same as a soulmate connection, but there's added things onto it. I kind of feel like we have a deeper connection, possibly even have incarnated here on planet Earth a few times. I'm not sure. It feels like I've known you before, but I'm not sure, but it feels like it. You flirt a little bit around the ideas of spirituality. So it'll be like, you know, you think on the same level. So it'll be like, your ideas of food would be very similar. Your ideas of raising children will be similar. Your idea of a 3D life will be very similar, but there'll be spiritual aspects to it. That is what I would say as a twin flame connection. A divine counterpart relationship, that's different. We're talking source to source relationships, angelics to angelics relationships. They're a different level altogether. The highs are really high and the lows are really low. You feel it, you know, it is traumatic. And the crazy thing about these divine counterpart relationships is one will trigger the other. One will trigger the other. You will be triggered. And they're not doing it to be cruel, but it's just their kind of agreement in regards to what they've agreed, you know, for you guys to do together along your journey. So it's just different. It's a soul thing. You know, you're either two sources coming together, or you're two angelic beings in 3D form coming together, and you've worked or you've lived together, or you have children together, and all these kind of, you've had children together, or you've had past lives together that have been quite significant. That's how I see the differences in the definitions, and it's all to do with love. You know, there's no kind of separation in that. It is to do with love. It is to do with connection. But as we're coming closer and the vibration is getting higher and higher and higher, things are changing, and they're changing very, very quickly. I mean, I don't know about you guys, and maybe you guys can relate to this or not, but I know couples who've been together 20, 30, 40 years, all of a sudden going, right, I don't want this anymore. I'm out. Like, you know, I can't be with you anymore. And it's like, what? We've been together for like 30, 40 years. You're just gonna give up? And like, people are like, yeah, I'm out. I'm going. I need to be by myself. You know, there's so much of that going on. So much of that going on. And this is normal. This is normal stuff. You know, it's normal stuff. Even, like I say, even the divine counterpart people I know together who are divine counterparts, they are struggling with this a lot. You know, there's a lot of highs and lows, and there's no easy way around it. You know, my best advice would be hold space and keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
Don't comment on it. Just watch. Hold space with that person. You will get through it. You will come out the other end, and you will be better for it. But it's having that faith. But we're not being trained that way in human 3D. If you upset me, I'm going to tell you about it, because I want you to know, and I want you to acknowledge it, and I want you to apologize because you hurt me. And this is all about need, isn't it? It's about wanting that kind of recognition that something's happened to me. I want you to acknowledge it, and I want to resolve this. Otherwise, I'm going to hold on to it, and it's going to be resentment building up for years and years and years. And I'm just going to one day just leave and walk out the door, and you'll have no idea why. And it might be just because you didn't put your shoes in the right place, you know? Does that kind of make sense? Am I making sense to you guys? Can you guys relate to it? Do you know other people who've been going through this? Yeah, great, good. It's useful. It's useful then. Good.
Yeah.
Francois?
Yeah, Francois, you've been quiet. Like, come on.
I feel like there's something that wants to come.
You need to unmute yourself.
So okay, I'm muting myself to let you know that the connection is very, very difficult here now since 5 minutes now. The people around, so I had to reboot the even Facebook, because I was disconnected even from Facebook, and I was asked for my for my password and everything, even from Facebook. So,
Wow.
so I'm back, and I missed like 7 minutes maybe of your conversation. But I wanted to let you know that it's recorded. It would be almost 2 hours of a recording, so just for you to know. And then I will edit this video to keep the best parts, or the parts the most significant. So, were there a question about me?
I just sensed that you had something to say.
Oh, is it Julie?
Yes.
Okay, so Julie, it's like buffering a lot. So it's like a Julie, and for 3 or 5 seconds I hear nothing. So it's a kind of freezing. Anyway, so Michelle is recording on her side, so I think the video, she has a sustainable connection. But here, yes, I have some.
You you said you had something to share with the group. You said you were going to share something, Francois, when we chatted this morning. Do you remember? He's frozen. Okay.
He has frozen, hasn't he? That is not a good connection. That's interesting, isn't it?
Excuse me for a second. My cat is meowing. I need to bring her in. It's cold here.
Yeah. Oh, Francois is back. Are you back, Francois? Can you hear us? Because you've frozen. Still frozen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna say a quick prayer here.
Mhm.
So I'd like to, let's do this in unity. I'll say it, we all will feel it, into it. So I am of God, I grant myself to the earth. I ask you, God, to remove all remote viewers with negative intent, remove all manipulations and transmissional frequencies that are not for our highest good in all space-time continuum in every dimension. Remove all machines and redundancies, creating all these frequencies up through infinite levels and up to 20 billion light years away. I thank you, God, and send you my unconditional love and gratitude. And I ask that you place a bubble of seventh dimensional unconditional love and protection around each of us in this group, in this meeting, for the duration of this meeting, and so forth. I'm grateful for everything you do. I love you. I'm so grateful. Thank you. So be it. There.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every time,
yes.
every time I get onto these Zoom meetings, there's always something. And unless I clear the air, there's always something. So even though we don't see them necessarily, there's beings who do not want this kind of transmission to go forward. So we probably all know that, but
that's right.
I just thought
Yeah,
I just felt the need to clear the space. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
It's good to be able to stop.
Looks like it. It's worked.
I'm just so overwhelmed by your beauty, Michelle. I'm just so overwhelmed by your beauty. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you what, everyone, I have to share this. This is the most joyful, happiest, wonderful time in my entire life. Is now. Like, these moments now are awesome. Like, I've never known these levels of joy. It's incredible. Incredible. So thank you, God. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
That's wonderful, Michelle. I love it. But just keep it to yourself, because I don't want to know about that.
Go away, Nilesh. Go away. We want to hear it.
us masculines are struggling here.
You're freezing, Nilesh. You're freezing slightly.
I think it's beautiful that you're feeling that, Michelle, and I think it'll be wonderful to put that out in the consciousness so we can all attain that, because I do feel many are struggling at the moment with this, and the energies are really high and bombarding us and really, really battering us a little bit, and that's because it needs to. There's nothing cruel about it. It's very intentional, and it's come from a place of love. So if you're feeling that, Michelle, it's beautiful to know that we can all get there to feel. Lynn are really going through it at the moment. They're really struggling. And you will find the ones around you they haven't got no idea why they're feeling the way they're feeling and why they can't eat meat, or, all of a sudden have these emotional outbursts of certain things and they've got no idea what's going on. So, I mean, I'm talking, even a few years back when I started the videos and stuff and did the stuff with Alba, and, there was a lot of divine feminine watching it. And when they're trying to get the divine masculine counterparts to watch it, no, I don't want to watch it. No interest. It doesn't resonate with me. And many of them watched it, and there are some that didn't. It's interesting because what's happened as time's gone on, they've gone back to watch those videos. It's fascinating, and seeing how much it's changed. Like, I get it now. I understand it now. Makes sense now. So everyone's timeline's different. So yeah, you hold that space for us, Michelle, because I need it.
I have a vision that is
Oh.
giving me an overview of what's
Beautiful.
happening with all of us. So I'll just share.
Share it,
Um,
Julie, share it.
It's like layers of an onion, you know. So in my case, there's like the bliss and like, oh, it's so perfect and beautiful. And then my friends will be like, now she's ready. Next layer of the onion. So the darkness comes up and it feels so heavy and prominent and oh my gosh, it's so heavy, you know. But it's because I was ready for it, because I let go. Right. So then the bliss, and then the next layer of the onion, and then darkness. So it's, you know, it's the process. But when Michelle's in her joy, that's what she's communicating to all minds through time and space. It's no small thing. And when you're brave in facing the darkness that's arising for you, that's what you're communicating to all minds through time and space. And so the larger overview of what I see, of how this process works for all of us, is like we're always helping each other, no matter which part of the onion we're at. We're always helping each other. We can't help it. That's our nature. But the way this will play out is we begin to forget history. Time collapses. And it's not like we know. Like if you woke up tomorrow morning and you had a completely different view of history, a much more peaceful one, how would you even know? Because you forgot, you know, you wouldn't even really know. So it's like we've already been through these collapses. We've already been collapsing our distress. I'm having trouble finding the words. We're in this active process, and it's so good. And no matter which side of the coin it is, it's so helpful, and it's shared with everybody, and it's so beautiful. So thank you.
Totally, Julie. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Yeah, lovely. I think that's bang on for sure. We're definitely feeling all of that. So yeah, there is more to come. The task for this is really do your work. Simple as that. Clear it. All the stuff you have to do, all that programming, all that conditioning, clear it. And you think once you've cleared it, once that's enough, no, it's going to come back. Clear it again. Like Julie's saying, layers. You know. Donkey said it quite well, right? Onions, layers. You know. That what we're experiencing. There are layers, and you're going to have to keep going over and over and over it until you get to the state where one day you've not thought about it for some time. And it's like, ooh, I think I might have done that then. You have to do the work. There's no way around it. You know, this is why the masculines are struggling, because they felt they didn't have to. They were in denial. They were resisting, you know, and they felt like they didn't have to. What you will discover is that it's quicker. You know, for you, Divine Feminine, I'm really sorry, because you had to spend years and years and years of pure practice and repetition and doing all this diligent hard work, and that's why you are the magnificent beings you are today, and that's wonderful. And it's so great that you held that space for the Divine Masculine to also reach that, and this is exactly what's happening. So the Divine Masculine are reaching it, and they're reaching it quicker. Like literally, they can do this in days. If they want, they can do it very instantly, but it's that level of awareness. So we're managing to do it quicker, but there is no like 1 step, then 5 step, then 10 step. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how quickly you want to go through that, that's up to you. That's your own preference. That's your own kind of restrictions. And you can do it as quick as you want or as slow as you want. And what you're discovering is that they're doing it a lot quicker. And you're like, God damn it. Do you know how many years it took me to master that? And you've done it in 10 days. Like, that is just
it's good. Then all the hard work paid off. That's the purpose, you know?
Absolutely.
Woo!
Absolutely. And I'm just playing with you, you know, I'm just messing about here. I just think it's fun, you know? And it's great. The quicker we do it, the quicker everyone, like you know, it's more settled and we can be exactly where we need to be. So ascension here on, and I feel like it's going to come soon. I really, really feel it. So be ready. Be ready.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun upstairs. We laugh a lot and we poke at each other a lot, and it's Yeah, and I was just prompted about an hour ago to what I was seeing is that we created a vortex, and so just imagine the guys are sitting right on top. It's an elevator. We're going up the elevator and down the elevator. When we get up to the plateau, the gang is there, and they go, yeah, go on! And then we're coming back down the elevator here. So it's been going like this for 2 hours. Keep going, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely, Marlene. That's
So,
perfect.
you're having
Yeah.
a tough time, you said. Is
That's
that
true.
so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out here. Would you guys like me to raise the vibration, make you all feel some joy? Because I got tons to give.
I think that'd be wonderful. Yes, of course. A little bit of joy. It's not going to. It won't take away from the work we need to do. But yes, Michelle, if you want to give me some joy and the rest of the masculine energy, I'm in.
Yeah, let's do it. Are you guys all into this? I mean, I don't want to, steal the show or anything. Yeah, Marlene, are you?
Sure.
Francois, are you in?
And Francois, you're okay with it?
I'm in and out from time to time.
Okay, Francois is breaking up. I'm just saying it's a yes.
Okay, all right. So I'll make it quick. So what happens is I bring in source energy, comes through me, and then I invoke white magic. It's Gaia's gift and the angel's gift to us. So when the two energies hit, it's powerful. And I call everyone in. So if you all want to close your eyes, and it might sound, weird and all that, but you'll feel the energy. I use my I am presence. So here we go. So I'm just asking God to surround this group with white love, light, and protection. Of course, I didn't need to say that, but yes. And I'm bringing in source energy down through my divine gateway chakra, galactic chakra, universal, spirit chakra, soul star chakra, crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral root, earth star chakra, down through Gaia to Gaia's heart, through Gaia's heart to universal 2 chakra, then back up to Gaia's heart, up to the earth star chakra, then up to the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, soul star, spirit, universal, galactic, divine gateway chakra. We are fully grounded and connected as a group. On behalf of us all, I am an invitation for white magic to fill my root chakra and up. I am that I am, and so it is. If you can all just visualize this white, pink energy coming up through your chakras. I am the energy of innocence. I am that I am, and so it is. I am the energy in the moment. I am that I am, and so it is. I am the energy of love. I am that I am, and so it is. I am the holy fire of God. I am that I am, and so it is. I am cleansed by the holy fire of God. I am that I am, and so it is. I know everyone's listening, but I'm just going to invite you all in, please, to assist with this. Oh, and you may feel tingles or warmth or any of those things. I place us all in a golden platinum bubble of love and light, and we can all get this visual. Ask God to make it extremely powerful and extend this bubble for you to fit in as well. In this bubble, I place all beings here on this call, as well as all of humanity. in this golden platinum bubble of love and light. I am removing all entities, energies, toxins, nanites, implants, everything that is not for the highest good of all beings in this golden platinum bubble of love and light. And transmute those energies into white light back to you, God. I am that I am, and so it is. I ask you to please amplify that intention. Thank you. I am raising the vibration of all beings in this golden platinum bubble of love and light to the highest level possible that is safe for their vessels in all space-time continuum in every dimension, in all etheric bodies. I am that I am, and so it is. I am infusing this bubble with the energies of bliss, joy, ecstasy, divine, unconditional love, divine joy, happiness, gratitude. So much gratitude. I am that I am, and so it is. I am divine, unconditional love, seeping into the organs of the beings in this golden platinum bubble of love and light. Radiating, infusing, penetrating to the deepest level in the organs of all beings in this golden platinum bubble of love and light, and transmuting all energies that do not serve our highest good in all space-time continuum, in every dimension, in all etheric bodies, into white light, back to you, God. I am that I am, and so it is. I am healing energy seeping into the skin, soft tissue, muscle, muscle mass, bone, bone marrow, nerve, nerve endings, into the cerebral spinal fluid, into all systems in the vessels of the beings in this golden platinum bubble of love and light. Of course, all for their highest good. In all space-time continuum, in every dimension, in all etheric bodies. I am that I am, and so it is. I ask Archangel Michael to please cut the cords that bind us. I ask God to allow this energy transmission and infusion for the highest good of all involved. I am grateful and thankful for all beings in this now moment for being here and assisting. Thank you. It is done. So be it.
So be it.
Thank you, Michelle. That was beautiful. Yeah.
So be it.
I'm extremely grateful for that, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, lovely.
So let my puppy in.
Just to say a little thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Francois, go.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so just before Michelle started,
Oh, you're frozen, Francois.
Mm.
I'm just going to any resistant thoughts in my mind and allowing them to be swept clean.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I am stabilizing this connection.
Wow. It's back on. Michelle, you are so
So I will write it down. I will write the message down. It will be easier for you to see. You know that you have a chat box down. You
Yeah.
can press it. Yeah, yeah. So some people are aware of it. So I could read your messages. Maybe you didn't. Some of you didn't notice. But yes, that's how Marlene advised me to mute myself, because there were many people around me. So she did it through the chat box, you know. And so what was shared in the chat box, you can press on it and see. So I will write now what I wanted to say. I don't know if you heard anything of that. So it said that we are in charge. So I will write it, and I think it was from team spirit, however you want to call it, the gang, like Marlene likes to say. It's just to make me aware that there was a connection going on, and that something is planned which is far beyond us. And so it was good from Michelle to have this urge to share prayer, just to focus the light. And I just guessed what you said, Michelle, because I just heard a few of the words. So okay, that's fine now. I'm muting myself.
Well, Francois, can you share what you know, our conversation earlier, you said you had some sort of download or something you wanted to share.
I said about downloads, okay, maybe. Yes, it's the word I'm using now because many people are using this word. It means just when you receive guidance, and you know that it's not just your ego mind or your free self, it's coming from above. So I don't know, I said about downloads? I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. You said you're going to share it anyway. I thought, well, just trying to get you to share it.
Are you mentioning the download that I just received? I heard telepathically, we are in charge. That's the download. And
Okay.
maybe I said something earlier in the beginning of this transmission, but I don't remember what I could say before. We can share it now. I have for 1 week I receive downloads every day, so. Let me check. Yes, because the chat box now I see only what I just wrote, not what was written before. So we have fantastic tool, I think, with this Zoom software. I think, like, yes, we should be trained a little about this tool, because yes, you can mute or unmute yourself. Sometimes you're not aware that the other persons online can hear what's happening around you. So here there are 10 people around me, so they may be noisy, or I could be noisy myself to them. So it's public space, so anything can happen, you know. It's a kitchen. I will show you the people. You see? So it was nice to connect with you. I don't know how much time you have, how much time left you have. The recording is already 2 hours and 15 minutes. So because Nilesh told me that he would be available for 1 hour only. So it's already,
I'm been on there too.
and Michelle and Marlene wanted to join the Ucolor webinar. I think it's too late now. Okay, I'm off.
It was today, but I can watch the replay. That's okay for me.
I've got a bomb. I've got a daughter to, like, you know, she's hungry. She's a teenager, so you know what that's like. Because like she'll eat anything. She's hungry. I need to go and cook. So you know, I do have to go. And before I do, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for like being here in this time and space and sharing this with me. You know, it's beautiful. I love the exchanges, and you know, the prayer as well, Michelle. That was really, really lovely, and your experiences, it means so much for me. as being a fractal of Metatron, one of the things is my greatest joy and my greatest pleasure is hearing your stories. I love that. To me, this is equivalent to sitting around a campfire and having a hot cup of, like, you know, cocoa and sharing our experiences. It's like that for me. It's beautiful. I love it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open. Thank you for, like, you know, being here and sharing your energy. And I've shared mine with you. So I'm hoping it's been okay and you don't all feel a little bit knocked out by it too much. I'm hoping you won't. I'm hoping it'll all be good. And, you know, if you're already working with Meti, then that's fantastic. And if you're not, then he might be knocking on your door. So just be aware of that.
I
No, but Marlene has a
on also, so I know what you're
fractal.
talking about. He's there.
Is Metatron green?
I don't think I have a specific color, but for me, Meti, it depends on what realm you're talking in. If you're talking in the realms of heaven, Meti is tall, big, and he wears gold armor and he has a sword. Now, I don't know why it's presented that way, but that's the way it's presented. When I'm working with Source, nothing of the same. I'm in a robe, we're around a table, we're looking at plans, we're discussing what needs to happen. And then my memory gets wiped and I can't remember any of it, which really annoys me. But it's part of the plan, so I keep getting told. So it depends on what realm you're talking of. But there is no specific color that, you know, for me, all colors meld into one. You know, black and white, they have all of the colors in those, you know, if you look. And so it doesn't really matter. But if you feel guided towards a specific color, like if it's green or pink and green, I mean, green would make sense to me. Pink and green together would, because to me that's the heart chakra. And if I'm anything, I have a big heart, and if you will feel me for sure, through, you know, the love that I have for you, you will feel that even through this communication. You will feel how I feel about you all. And so, yeah, if it helps, then please, whatever. There is no this way, there is no that way, there is no specific way to connect. There's none of that. Just whatever it is for you, Meti will turn up, as is my agreement with him. He'll turn up in whatever shape or form that suits you, because it's individualistic. So if he turns up knocking on your door, don't blame me. It was nothing to do with me. He just turned up uninvited.
I think he just indicated that he's been green for me, because green has been a safe, lovely color for me. So I think I just got a little tap.
Oh, beautiful. That's great, Julie. I get that. It's individual for everyone. And I'm not privy to that information either. That's our agreement too. I don't know what he discusses or what he does with you, because it's too much for me to take. This human brain can only cope with so much information. And, you know, the information of each and every one you knew, and knowing, you know, the beings that you are or what you've lived or your Akashic records would just literally blow this mind. I just couldn't cope with it all. So, yeah. So thank you all for like being a part of this. Brilliant. Thank you, Francois, for setting up, and Michelle as well. Thank you. It's lovely. So
Thank you, everybody.
okay.
Yeah, nice to meet
Everyone,
you
thank you
all.
so
I love
much.
you all.
Thanks.
Take care.
See ya.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, how do I